deal, y'all. Rich Trapper tapping in, TNN Trap News Network, man. I'm here to bring y'all something special. You feel me? Real family in the building.
Yeah, you already know.
And this one right here is a little bit, this one is near and dear to my heart, man. Me and Spoety Face had a cool working relationship for some time now before you went and did your second little vacation and all that. But even deeper than that, on a community level, and I don't mean this in a gang aspect, this really is family. You know what I'm saying? Ties to mutual people, ties to mutual parties, bound across one way or another. But out of real blood and family love connections, man, here we are. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you for being over here with us, bro, my nigga. Thank you.
I appreciate you for having me.
Thank you. Let us know about you, man. Who are you? Where you from?
Oh, man. Everybody know me, my Spoety Face or Turtle, of course. You know, I'm out the Lamar Park area.
Okay.
Vernon Avenue.
So we gonna get into what kind of got you to your current moment of virality, as we would say. But it's a lot of things about you that I know about you, that the community know about you, whether it be things that are on a community activist side or on a more political side, as far as, let's call it, fraternities are involved. You feel me? But we get this side of you that's, I'm gonna talk to you like your real homie. That's real militant. You know what I'm saying? That's real. You know, I'm here for business. I'm here for all that. And that's cool. We love and we respect that. But I know it's another side of you. So that's the side that we're here to kind of spread more light on and touch on this afternoon while we, you know what I'm saying, knocking out this 1-2 steps. So we'll just start from the beginning. Your formative years, let's start between birth and 5 years old. What was it like?
I could say, I started off, to be honest, I started off rough in life. I was with my mom till I was maybe probably 18 months, somewhere like 18 months, 20 months, something like that. And then I ended up getting taken away from me and my other siblings. So that kind of started off, you know, my journey right there. My grandma, fortunate enough, she was fortunate enough to get us out of foster care or whatever like that. So for maybe like 20 months on, I live with my grandma.
Okay. And when you were living with your grandma, what part of LA is that?
South Central LA, the West Side. I grew up right there on 52nd and St. Andrews. I grew up on St. Andrews my whole life. Okay. Right there.
So you going into all this, you hit about kindergarten, first grade. Do you have a relationship with your mother then, or is it still just you and your grandmother and your siblings?
I always had a relationship with my mom because, like I said, my grandma, which was my dad's mother, she never tried to get any in between that or anything like that, or come between me and my mom. It was just unfortunately that my mom at the time, she had got caught up on drugs and stuff like that. So it was more of her getting right and getting herself together, right? You know, to come be with us and do what she had to do as a mother and as a woman to come back and be in our life and you know, give her enough motivation to try to come get us back.
Right. So when you're going into these situations to where now you, even at 5 years old, you know, you have other siblings. Are you an oldest child, middle child, youngest child?
Out of my mom's, I'm the third oldest. So I got two sisters that's above me. My mom has 8 children, and you can say I'm like the semi in the middle. She got 8. I'm the third oldest. So.
So with you being the oldest boy for sure in that situation, did you feel like at a young age now you're stepping into more of the man of the house role, the protector role? I got to be the one to maybe not even necessarily provide, but at that age for sure protect and make sure things go a certain type of way?
Yeah, because I grew up in a home full of women. So at the time, my little brother, he wasn't born yet. So it was just me, my siblings, my 2 sisters, and my cousin. So I grew up in a house full of women. But I had like my uncles, who was Black Panthers, like around, and that's who raised me. As far as those was the male figures that was in my life. You know, my pops was in and out of jail and stuff like that. But fortunate enough, like I said, I live with his mom, so anytime he go visit moms, like he has to see us, right. You know. So, but yeah, my uncles kind of took the initiative and gave me that guidance and the tools and the things that I needed in life.
So what you have in the Black Panthers in your household as your family structure, your uncle structure, essentially the male figures in your life.
Correct.
Leading to present day, is that kind of where the more militant, the more discipline, the more structure comes from? Because that is pretty much the basis of the Black Panthers. It's formulated on discipline and self-respect.
Yeah, absolutely. Even to my like I said, like all my uncles, what is majority of my uncles and my dad and my grandma, the woman who raised me, she was a Black Panther as well. So absolutely, I grew up militant. I grew up in a structured and disciplined household. You know, when I was growing up, I had to say, you know, yes, ma'am, no, sir, and things like that. You know, I wasn't even allowed to listen to rap music. You know, I had to sneak and listen to rap music. Once I started being a teenager, then she started letting me, you know, really, you know, listen to my own music. Once I bought myself a, you know, little tape, little headset or whatever the case was. But yeah, absolutely, that molded me in. It's still in me to this day. So yeah.
So, all right, we're gonna take it back to that, but moving, you know, back to the formative years. So now you're 5 years old, you're in first grade. Let's take it from 5 to 10 years old.
Mm-hmm.
What was that like for you going through elementary school?
Oh, I had a ball. Like me growing up, I had a lot of siblings and I had a lot of cousins. And since I live with my grandma, she had all the grandkids over there.
Right.
So, you know, I went to school with a lot of my siblings and the cousins. We was deep at school. So, you know,
What school did you go to?
I went Western Avenue Elementary.
Okay.
So I went to Western Avenue Elementary and I went there K through 5.
Okay.
And yeah, growing up, I all the way up into 5th grade, yeah, I couldn't complain about anything. You know, like I said, I was just enjoying life. You know, going to school, playing games, playing sports, and probably stealing bikes or something at the time. You know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Hold on. Cuddy, I know we live, but you're gonna edit this out. Let me unplug this real quick. We got the automatic timer. It's gonna keep doing that. My bad. My bad, live. It's all good. You can edit out post production. But go ahead, fool.
Yeah, that's it. That from 5 to 10, that's basically what I did. I just started getting into sports, being more interested in sports and like riding bikes and things like that.
Yeah, hold on. What the hell? So you into sports, you into riding bikes, you still able to live a life certainly as a child. You still have your, so to speak, I don't want to say the innocence because we already seen that you was met with heavy opposition starting in. You feel me? Correct. I don't want to say that. I'm gonna call a spade because, you know what I'm saying, niggas got a personal relationship. You was never really given a fair chance to start with.
No, absolutely not. But to be honest, I say no because most people had one parent in the house, at least one parent. For the most part of my life, I grew up without my mom and my dad. But my grandma, she was everything, bro. She was my mom and she was my dad.
Grandmas are important in every black family, especially growing up in LA. We know that most of us own. Look at that picture right there. So that's grandma's the anchor of the family.
And it's not enough traditional grandmas anymore. That's another topic for another day. But it ain't enough traditional grandmas.
It's too many real hip hop wives.
Yeah. So like I said, my grandma, when she was raising me, she was the head of the family. Absolute, when it was no question.
Period.
She was
the matriarch.
Yeah, for sure. You know, that's where the family meals went on at. That's where all the kids was at. You know, like I said, I had some of my best years in my life in that house. But yeah, going back to it, like I said, so from 5 to 10, I had a normal kid life, you know, and it was around at that age, like at 10 years old, you know, I was just interested, you know, it's like I was always outside. You know, I was good in sports. I used to be on the swimming the dive team for the LA Coliseum. Like I said, I was playing football and basketball, but I was outside.
That's old school, the dive team for the Coliseum.
Yeah. So I was on there. We got a couple championships up there.
Olympic pools.
Yeah, absolutely. And so at that age, 10, you know, I was interested in different things, you know, but I was living the life of a kid, but it was certain things outside that I was interested in, you know what I'm saying? It was very intriguing to me as well.
So as you're growing up between elementary school, are you seeing gangs? Are they in the household? Are you seeing them in the community? Are you already introduced with this and just ignoring it because you're still doing kid stuff? Or at 10 years old, was it just like, boom, first introduction to this whole lifestyle of jumping off the porch?
Nah, it had always been around me. It already had, like I said, it had always been around me, like for my cousins, you know what I'm saying? my uncles, my dad, or whatever the case was. But it was just outside of my house. It was never no game banging inside my household. My grandma didn't play that at all. But outside my doorstep,
You knew what it was.
Yeah,
right?
it was right when I went outside.
Right. So 10 years old, 5th grade going into 6th grade, what was that experience like that kind of shifted you from I'm going to continue to stay on a route of, doing kid stuff versus I'm going to go into a more adult direction of being in the streets?
I started getting packed out from and fighting kids for who I was hanging with on my block.
That'll do it.
Yeah, so and back in the days they used to have little cliques and stuff like that, or we used to just be on our blocks and things like that. So once certain kids started disliking me because of the people I was hanging with, I'm like, oh, this is real. Like, you know what I'm saying? We fighting and we getting packed out and stuff like that. But,
walking home from school, just doing regular stuff.
Yeah, correct. And like I said, there's a lot of people in the neighborhood like I don't necessarily look up to, but I fake like idolize them because of what the things that they had. Like I stayed telling the story, like, I come from nothing. Like, I wasn't poor, but I was rich at the same time. You get what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So my grandma was old fashioned. Was in the house. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. She was old fashioned. She was traditional. So she didn't really care about the clothes and the shoes and things. And I think that to some degree that made me at the time, I'm a kid, like I wanted it even more. So when I'm seeing a gang of money or people having clothes and cars and jewelry and women and things like that, I was interested. I was very materialistic. Well, I won't say materialistic. I wanted it.
Right.
I wanted it. I can't be materialistic because I never had it, but I definitely wanted it, to find the things in life just because I felt like I grew up and I didn't have it.
But then here's the thing too, growing up on the west side, I always say this, the first place I ever seen a $100,000 car was on Slauson waiting on the 108. You would see a Rolls Royce, you would see a Bentley, you would see a McLaren or whatever, it's a lot of money within that community. Go into the Lamar Park area, down into the, the 30s, it's a lot of money in our community. So I could definitely see, not even looking at the gang members, just your peers at school. You got the spoiled kids who coming out of Windsor Hills. They got every pair of Jordans. You know what I'm saying? You got the kids coming out the real top of Baldwin Hills. They mamas and daddies is pulling up in the big Infinities at that time, as us being in the 90s and 2000s and all that. So I could definitely understand. I could definitely, relate to seeing people having things and being like, yeah, that's what life is like. You feel me?
Yeah, absolutely. But so it was that attracted me, like I said, like per se, like to the streets a little bit more. So once it was then, it started off me starting to hustle. I'm 10 years old. With 9 and 10, I'm selling candy.
I was gonna say you had the sour belts.
Yeah, man, I had everything. Man, I used to make my own type of stuff. I had the little blow pops, the little.
Was you the kid who used to take the blow pops and put the airheads around them and all that kind of stuff? Yeah, you got
all that. So, my grandma, she really didn't. She never really like. She gave us money and stuff like that. But she, like I said, she wouldn't spend hundreds of dollars on shoes and stuff like that. So what she used to do is, you remember the food stamps with the paper?
Tear-offs? Yeah, and they give you change.
Yeah. So it was like she used to take me to Smart and Final. I was like, well, don't even worry about giving me no money. Just buy me. You know what I'm saying? Just buy me some food. You know what I mean? The candy. And I'm a hustle and I got it. And then that's when I first started to hustle. Like once I started seeing it in the turnover ratio, I'm like, all right. And then like I said, like I got all the stuff. I used to spend it on stuff. She like, well, you expected me to buy it every time? That's what she telling me, hustling one-on-one. Like, hold on, basically, like,
you gotta get your own real.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? She taught me that, and from that moment on, I was like, oh yeah, I could get this, I could get that. And then, like I said, I always been a hustler, but I was definitely attracted to the streets by the members outside, though, man. And it was over from there. I started hanging out, bro. So
how does selling candy transfer to now you hanging out with the members of the community?
To be honest with you, I was always hanging out with my big cousin. Okay. My big cousin. One of them was a Damu, but all the rest of them, they was Keyways. So I always wanted that. Like, you know what I'm saying? So once I'm hanging out and they allowing me to hang out now, they got to come get my sisters, got to come get me down the street. Like, man, grandma said, man, the light on. You know what I'm saying? Put it, the street light thing.
Matter of fact, hold on, speaking to cousins, let me send that nigga the link right now.
Yeah, But yeah, I'm telling him like my sisters had to come get me like, man, the streets lights on, so I'm hanging out more and more and more. And then once you start hanging out, the homies like, shit, y'all hanging out?
Oh, you outside?
Man, hold this,
do this,
go
get that.
Come on, you know what I'm saying?
And it start with simple stuff like, hey, go to the store and give me some chips.
Yeah.
It's little, whatever,
Yeah, absolutely.
Or see, he'll let you get some lunch. Just go get you.
You know what's crazy? Because it's crazy because back then, man, listen, you used to be able to go get a pack of cigarettes with a note.
With a note, nigga. With a note, for sure. They probably not going to give you that bottle. They'll probably give you some beer with a note. You for sure gonna get the cigarettes or any kind of blunts. For sure. Or they had like Optimos and all that type of shit. Big chunky ass blunts and shit. But all right, let's take it. Now you got junior high school. You starting to hang out more. You getting introduced to having a little bit of change in your pocket. What junior high school do you go to?
I went to a couple of them, but 6th grade, I was already full-fledged. I was already, so I don't want to skip that. I was full-fledged already. I started. So
5th grade going into 6th grade is where the transition turns.
Okay. Yeah, like right before 6th grade, right before 6th grade, I was already like a couple of me and my homies, like we were so young, they just made us fight each, you know what I'm saying? They made us fight each other. But I was already full fledged. Like, so by the time I went to Horseman, that was my first school, that was my home school. I went to Horseman Middle School. I was already full fledged. So once I got to once I got to junior high school, it was already on because people was up there, you know what I'm saying? They was gang banging already. So, you know, I'll start fighting up there, and that's where it all started. My career started at Horseman Middle School.
How do you end up at Horseman and not Audubon?
You know, it's crazy because I really grew up. I don't know. That was just for some reason on that back end. Horseman is our.
That's the school. Okay, Horseman, that makes sense. Yeah,
Horseman.
It's like the edge of the
right
the district.
My homie stayed 2 blocks down from me.
And he go to Audubon.
On 40. That was his home school. Was Audubon.
Okay, yeah. Okay, but so you in there with Horseman? Are you already put on? Or are you just?
I'm full fledged. I'm full fledged at that point.
So where does the put on come in? What age is that?
I was 10.
10 years old, and that's when y'all had to do y'all with each other. Okay,
yeah. I was already full fledged. Yeah. So by the time
So at that point, y'all just going through the steps because they already can see that this is what these niggas is finna be on regardless. But let's just go through the necessary requirements.
Yeah. That's a fact. That side of the Rolling 40s over there, like we started that. Like even to my older homies, a lot of them was older than me at the time. I was like maybe 10, 11. It was like 17, 18. But I started off with a lot of them.
Right.
Like that side of the hood, like I mean, as far as that streets, a lot of that, like that wasn't even our hood at first.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Like that was VNGs, but we like took that over right there. You know what I'm saying? That little spot at the time. That wasn't even the Rolling 40s, but the homies, like the people that I started off with, they got that cracking over here, that side of the hood.
Yeah, so without saying no names, it's certain members who would say like, oh yeah, we grew up with them. They were supposed to be woo-woo.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
And then y'all got somewhere y'all look like, bro, you was supposed to be blah, blah, blah. That go both ways.
Yeah, that's a fact. You know, it's crazy because like a lot of the, like that side, like, cause I grew up like in the borderline between the Rolling 40s and the VNGs. So a lot of our friends was VNGs. Like we lived on the same block or
next door neighbors and all that. Across the street, played basketball. Yeah. We all played once upon a time at Van Ness Park, at least once.
I used to go swimming out there all the time. You know, it's crazy because he had joined. I'm gonna just say his name. A lot of people don't like him, but that's my boy though, man. Shout out to Chili Bang for being like
that's right.
Yeah, I grew up with him.
But you know what? That's solid though. That's solid though. That's a real. Just because two people are from opposite sides, there can be respect amongst quote unquote enemies, and I use that word extremely loosely. You feel me?
Yeah. I grew up with him, and to this day, you know, we shout out to him for never switching up. Though we had our little run in or whatever case is, you know, once it was full phase or whatever, but we kept it couple steady, and that's my boy to this day.
Y'all still handle things on a gentleman level.
Yeah, absolutely. I seen him. He embraced me and all that. That's my boy though, man. Shout out to him, man.
Man, so let me ask you this question: you go through junior high school. Do you complete junior high school? You graduate from Horseman?
No, I didn't. I was fighting. You know, I was fighting. Like I said, I got into a couple fights up there with some A-Tray gangsters up there. Like I said, I used to go to Horseman when Young Ant, his brother, Tiny Ant.
Okay.
So I was going up there around that area.
Shout out to Ant.
Yeah. Shout out to Young Ant. But I used to go up there with his brothers and stuff. So, like I said, it was cliques and different hoods up there and stuff like that, rolling 60s, 8-tray gangsters.
Y'all niggas turned the school into a prison yard?
Yeah, for
Low-key,
sure.
everybody
For
just
sure. Nah,
went
for
to
sure.
where they went.
I don't know, it's crazy because back then, people was gang banging. That was like full-fledged. And,
what year is this?
Just like, what, 96? No, it's like 97.
Okay.
97, 99. Yeah, that's 97.
Okay.
97. Shout out to my boy, man, Tony J Stone from 60s too, because I went to Horse. Yeah, I went to Horseman Middle School. Him and his brother too. No, Infant J Stone, and I went up there as well with him with Tony, his brother. That's resting in peace. Yeah, I went up there with them as well though. But like I said, so the course of that, I was getting into fights and stuff, so I ended up getting kicked out of Horseman.
Okay, so where do you go after that?
Shit, I went to Fauché.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah. So I went to Fauché
they sending you everywhere but out of bond.
Yeah. At the time, so I went to Fauché in the middle of the Rolling 40 in the Harlem 30s beat. So if you know, that's all of like the Rolling 30s.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You had a couple of like brims in there here and there, you know what I'm saying, Fruitown or whatever the case is, but that was really Harlem school. So you just imagine me up there.
Yeah, that's what I said. Shit. Like, yeah. Especially during that period of LA history.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how long do you stay at Fauché?
I was in Fauché like a month and a half. Got kicked out of Fauché.
And then where you go?
I went to Bethune after that. I went to Bethune.
Okay.
No, I'm lying. I went to John Muir. After Fauché, I went to John Muir. So I went to like six or seven different.
You did a middle school tour.
I did, bro. Until they tried to put me in continuation. But when they put me in continuation, shortly after I went to continuation, so that's when my jail career started. But I went to Horseman, Fauché, John Muir, Carver, and Bethune.
Okay. Shit.
All them. Yeah.
Goodness, damn.
All them junior high schools. I got kicked out of every one of them from fighting.
So, all right. So you go to your last junior high school. Where do you transition from suspension and getting kicked out of school to where now you're graduating and did you go to the halls? You went to camp? Where do you go?
Yeah, I went to Juvenile Hall.
Okay.
But
in the midst, which one?
Lost with Juvenile. That was my first Juvenile Hall. And my first time going, I was maybe like 12. I got caught, me and some of my homies, we got caught like robbing somebody or something like that. That was the first time. And they let me out like days with probation or whatever.
Was it like armed robbery or just
no armed robbery. Strong going robbery.
Snatch and run type shit?
Nah, just going to somebody's pockets and they told us and we ain't running and nothing like that.
Who was at school?
Nah, we was on the block.
And just caught a nigga down.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
It is what it is.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like,
yeah, so after that,
obviously somebody who knew y'all.
Now this is in the neighborhood. They gave us like some kids, some kids had robbed us or whatever. So they look going around and we just ain't knowing, that's sophisticated as a kid, you know what I mean? They just end up getting this, took me to the hall. I stayed in there for maybe like no more than like my granny came and got me. And then they gave me probation.
And then how old are you there?
I'm like 11 or 12.
Okay,
I believe
so that's
I was like 11.
Grade.
No, I'm like 12. I was 12. Yeah, I was 12.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you go from there to high school or do you continue to catch cases?
Nah, I got out, but at that time, I was on probation, so I went to a continuation school. So I went to like a couple continuation schools for maybe like 3-4 months, maybe 3-4 months. No, I say at the max like 6 months. But then at the time, I'm 13. And then when I'm 13, I end up catching another case. And that's what sent me away. That's what sent me up the river.
Okay, so what is that case for?
Attempted murder.
Okay. And then is that by shooting, stabbing, you beat somebody up?
Yeah, shooting.
And you 13 years old?
13 years old.
So obviously you free now, so you are whatever. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'll speak about it openly.
And of course you can omit all names and communities and all that.
Yeah. So they said I shot somebody, a rival gang member or whatever the case is at the time. He was 17, about to be 18, almost 13, and they ended up sending me to the California Youth Authority.
Okay.
I got sentenced to Youth Authority at 13. So over the course of me like fighting my case or whatever, I was 13 going to turn 14. So I ended up hitting YA at 14. I got sentenced at 13, but I ended up hitting YA Fred C. Nellis at 14 years old.
And how long were you in there?
I was in there till I was 17 years old.
So you did your pretty much whole high school career.
Pretty much.
Now, did you get your GED or high school diploma or anything?
I did. I got my GED at 15 years old.
Okay, so that's definitely a great use of your time.
Yeah, at 15, because you had like one thing about me. I never been a dummy though. You know what I mean? I never been a person who thought like being stupid or skipping school was cool. I always, like I said, I was just naturally like smart, bro. Like, and plus my grandma used to be on me like school was everything, and I used to like going to school, bro. To be honest with you. Right. I was fucking with school. Like, you know what I mean? I could have went to the league if I wouldn't went that way, you know?
So let me ask you a question, because we hear a lot of YouTubers talk about going to YA and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Do you have difficulties attending class because now you're seeing your opposing factors in there?
Absolutely.
So what's that like? Are you getting kicked out of class? Are you having a fight in class? Or are you just bypassing all the drama? Like, I see you back in, where we live at.
No, it was like, to be honest with you, quite honest with you, it was hard for me and why a lot of people that's from different hoods, they probably had a little easier at the time. Like, my hood was deep, but it wasn't a lot of rolling 40s just in YA. We were scattered.
Right.
So when I got there, it was a couple of us up there, but we was all different ages, and then we was separated, but the deepest at the time, one of the deepest Crip sets, like, the Rolling 30s and the A-Tray Gangsters and then the Hoovers, at the time. Shit, we was beefing all of them, and that was like the facility that I was in, they was the deepest. Right. So I had it, I had it hard. It was like I was going to school, like, nigga, I had to fight damn near the whole black population, minus my homies.
Right.
YA, it's more like a brotherhood, like they call it like their comrades, you know what I'm saying? And like, say for instance, if me and you, we rock together, it's like, nigga, all your enemies is my enemies. Right. So if you don't like him, I don't like. Yeah. So you know what I'm saying.
So now you inheriting your shit and my shit.
Yeah, they call it Rothfly. You know what I'm saying, up there. But yeah, I kind of had a rough in YA. I ain't gonna lie. I had a rough, but that it built me up to be strong, man. YA, you gonna break, or you gonna come out a warrior. I came out a warrior for sure though. But like, for the first 6 months I was in YA, I'm going to class every time. We going to Muslim service. I'm fighting. I'm getting rushed.
Hold on. How are you fighting in class and then still continue? Do you fight, get put out of class, or they just let y'all fight and you just continue? How does this work?
No. So first of all, we going to the hole. We getting sprayed, whether I win or lose. I'm getting sprayed. I'm going to the hole. You're going to the hole. You got to fight. Sometime if you on different colleges, they call them colleges. Like, that's different units. If you're on a different college, then sometime they're CTQ you, like, basically like, or you ain't going to school for a couple of days, and you ain't sort of like to keep us away from each other, but you gotta go to school because you're a junior. Since you're a juvenile, state law, they have to put you in school. So it's like, nigga, I see you whenever I get out the hole, like, you know what I mean, we gonna get it cracking again, type stuff. So, and you going back to the same class.
So how do you complete this subject, and how do you complete this course if you fighting every time you go to class?
All right, so it's a difference between a high school diploma and a GED.
GED, right?
So in prison. I mean, it's like that too. In prison, in any facility, at least in California. So when I was in YA, if you going to school, like if you going into class, that's you trying to obtain your high school diploma. Me personally, I took on self-studies because I did
going for credits.
Yeah, so and I think that was the best thing I could have did because I spent so much time in the hole, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I just give me the work.
So you doing your work?
I'm going at my pace.
Okay.
So I'm knocking books out. You know what I'm saying? I'm knocking subjects
out.
Doing
all the coursework to acquire.
Yeah, like fact. That's why I got my GED.
That shit.
15 years old. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people didn't. They still ain't got their shit, but I got mine at 15.
I finessed high school the same way. I put myself to continuation school, knocked out the credits, and boom, I got my certificate of completion. Yeah. Go back, get your diploma, and all the same shit. No, I get
absolutely.
Because
I got my diploma as well, though. But go ahead.
That's dope. No, but that's the part that I wanted to get at. Do you transfer that into a diploma?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, that's hard.
Absolutely. So I had got my GED, but by the time I got out, I had so many credits, and I don't know how it is if it's the same way how I was when I was in there. But when you was in jail, you got more credits.
Yeah, like continuation school.
Yeah, it's like a continuation
Yeah.
school. For some reason, I don't know how, but you got more credits. So on my
Instead of
diploma,
getting for every semester, they give you every quarter credits.
yeah. So as far as my diploma credits, they was to the roof. So by the time I ended up paroling, it's like you only need a couple more classes. I get my diploma.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying? So I ended up getting my GED and my high school diploma.
So basically, on a YA educational level, you go to class, take a fade, we in the hole, and in the hole is where I'm actually going to school at.
Sometimes it's not even me taking a fade; it's me getting packed out. But yeah,
or just, I'm gonna get into an altercation, however, and then in the hole is where I'm gonna actually do my classwork and do my coursework. That's actually where I'm at school at, and then I'm gonna knock this out because when I get out this motherfucker, I'm coming right back to this motherfucker.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you so bored. As a kid, you so bored in the hole, you ain't got nothing. So it's like that's what I really started getting my mind like in reading, like falling in love with reading. You know what I mean? Like in that, because you ain't got nothing in there. You know what I'm saying? So I used to be like, I only like black novels, I only like black authors, books. When you get up in there, you start reading them too. It ain't enough.
Yeah, no, I feel you.
You know what I'm saying?
Hella
So now,
James Patterson's.
Yeah. So now when a librarian come through in a course, like, no, I don't want that because the page turn. I don't want that. I want the big ones. You know what I mean? I want the Stephen Kings and the John Gruesome and James Patterson. I'm like, all right, let me live you because it's a lot of pages that'll last you. You know what I'm saying? Because they only come by. Librarians only come by like once a week. That's it. And you get 2 books.
So you do. Damn, that's it.
2 books per week.
Oh yeah, so you got to pick the best ones. Yeah, for sure. So boom, you in there, 17 hits. Do you get out on time served? Do they find you not guilty? How do you come off this attempt?
So it's different now, but back when I was a juvenile, you just got whatever the judge gave you.
Okay.
So I could have got out earlier, but I didn't because I didn't max it out because of all the write-ups in the fights. You know what I'm saying? In the physical altercation. Because you
niggas turned MMA match.
Yeah, so I was maxed out, so I didn't have no more confinement time. So they had to let me go. So they was trying to give me an M number, which is juvenile life at first.
Right.
But the person he ended up surviving, and then my case was self-defense. You know what I mean? Because he was older than me, or whatever the case was. So that turned me from not having the M number to just a regular number. You know what I'm saying? So that's what saved me anyway. So they couldn't hold me till I was 25. They only could hold me. They only had jurisdiction on me till I was 21. And that saved me as well too, though.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So boom, you 17. You back on the streets. At what age do you go back to jail?
Shit, 17.
Okay, so you couple months out and then you right back in there.
I was out like maybe like cause I got out like when I was a fresh 17. I say like 6-7 months. 6-7 months in. I went back to jail for a blower.
So you just got that bitch on you.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So what made the police stop you? They just recognize you as being in the community, you driving? Like what leads to them realizing you got blick on you?
Truancy. Remember that back in the day? You
got caught by the truancy cop, bro? You the first nigga in life I've ever known that got caught by this nigga.
But they was different, man.
They jumped out on you?
Man, what was there? Bryce and them, all of them, they used to be up at Crenshaw, man. They used to be on me, man. They knew it. Like, what you doing out of school for? They used to, back then, they used to drive around the whole perimeter. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, we all start running. Nigga throw the blower and all that. They end up getting it anyway, but they said they see me. They see me throw it or whatever. So that's how they got me. But they was up on us because of truancy. Like, we was young. Like,
where was y'all hanging out at?
9th Ave and what was that? 9th Ave.
So just outside. Yeah, just outside. Yeah. Clearly not in school.
Nah, trying to walk back to the hood.
Right. Yeah. So, all right. So, boom. Now, do you go to the county or do you still do kiddie time?
Nah, I go back to juvenile hall because I'm still under the age. You know what I'm saying? Okay. 18. Not only that, is like I'm still awarded a juvenile. So once I did that, they ended up sending me back to the Y. Gave me a year. And that was my last time. That was my last time that I ended up going to YA. And I got out, of course, 18 years old.
Okay. So 18 years old, how long do you stay free before you catch another case?
Bro, I was catching bullshit cases like the whole time. Like, it's like I caught a couple assault cases. Like I think I was like 18. I didn't catch another robbery, bro. Like an armed robbery, and that's what sent me to the pen.
Okay.
That's what sent me to the pen. I got sentenced at 18 and ended up hitting the pen at 19. So once I started going to jail, it was hard for me to shake it. I couldn't shake that shit for nothing in the world.
It's
bro.
like having it's like you could. I don't want to call it. Well, no, I call it what it is. It's like having a spirit on you. You can feel the weight on it. You feel
That's
me?
a fact. That's
And
a
you
fact.
just go continuously, and it's just
That's a
and
fact.
you go until finally they keep your ass.
Yeah, hell yeah. So yeah, I ended up going to prison. I got sentenced at 18. I ended up hitting up there at 19. They gave me 3 years, 85%. But that
Where did they send you to prison? Where did you go?
my reception I went to was Tehachapi. I got to prison. My first time in prison was 05. I got to Tehachapi reception, and then I ended up going to Centinela.
Okay.
And I did all my time in Centinela that time. Centinela and Ironwood. I was in Ironwood for like maybe like a year, and then I went to Centinela. So
killing your ass in the summer out there.
yeah, hell yeah, that shit dumb high. It's like 110, 115 on average.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah, that's a fact.
So you in there, because I want to move on past this, but as your first prison experience, what was that like? What would be the absolute worst thing that you've seen? And what would be I don't want to say the best, but the most positive thing you experienced in there? Because there is light at the end of every tunnel.
Yeah. I'll say the worst thing that I've seen in there is when we were like, it was a riot, and it was maybe like, it was like 30 of us, like 30 blacks. And it was like maybe like 100 something Mexicans. That was the worst thing I've seen, and I feel like I'm not gonna say I've seen, because it's like for us to be that short, like we did our thing, like, you know what I mean? But I feel like that's the worst thing I've seen. And besides somebody actually getting unalived on the yard,
Right.
like I was a part of that, so I had to put that at the top. And then I feel like the best thing I've seen in there is where one of my worst enemies, I'm gonna just say his name, one of my worst enemies, 007 from Trouble. We grew up together too, Ronnie. We didn't like each other for a long time, and during that actual riot, that same riot, I looked to my right, and he right there. He like, "How come you ain't by yourself?" I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it. He like, "No, I got you, bro. You ain't by yourself."
But it's crazy how the person who you may have tried to take your life, or you might have vice versa on the street, is the person who is now y'all are saving each other's lives. The irony of the situation.
That's a fact.
That's an incredible testament.
Yeah, that's a fact.
So we could tap on the jail questions all day. That is what it is. Mm-hmm. I do have one question. How the fuck you end up locked up in Arizona? What the fuck was you doing out in Arizona?
So I was never in Arizona, but this how the story goes. So
okay.
I ended up going to jail for 2011. I ended up going to jail for a shooting, a couple attempted murders and stuff like that, or whatever. Long story short, I ended up getting sentenced to prison time in California. At the time, California was overpopulated.
So they stole your ass to Arizona.
So yeah, so what California was doing, they was sending us out of states, different states. I was in Tallahatchie, Mississippi, Siri, Oklahoma.
Were you in there with their inmates, or was it just California?
No, it was just California. So what they do, they got CCAs out there.
Got you.
Private prisons. So they'd just send you out there, and they'd be all California.
So y'all just out in Mississippi politicking.
Yeah, I'm in Tornado Alley in Siri, Oklahoma. You know what I'm saying, like that. But my last prison I went to out of state, it was Eloy, and while we was out there, I ended up catching an in-house case of attempted murder on an inmate. So by me catching an attempted murder on an inmate, they tried me in Arizona
because that's where.
So yeah, so I didn't get attempted murder out there. So I got 8 years with 85% out there. So they gave me an additional 8 years with 85%. So when I was done my California time, Arizona extradited me out there, and that's how I ended up
money out there. So
correct. Yeah. I owed them eight years with 85% out there. So when I did my time out there, I ended up paroling out there. But when I paroled out there, it's like, nigga, I'm not from out here. I don't know not one street. Now I'm gone.
Right.
I went home. And that's when I was introduced to the, you know what I'm saying?
And that's when all the little shit.
Yeah, to the internet world and all that. And then, you know, they finally caught up with me. I pulled over.
Right.
tinted windows. They're like, oh, hold on, you gotta warn off
Oh,
your
you that
arrest.
one nigga.
Should not even be out there. Like, there, let you know this time you're gonna do all your. We gonna get ours right now.
Because your ass is not.
Yeah, so they knew. So they made me do the rest of my little parole. So I basically did 11 months for absconding.
Right. Okay. So speaking of this introduction to the internet world, you came into the internet world on fire. You feel me? You come in with the introduction of y'all being at No Jumper. You know, when to have the conversation with Brick, where now you having, let's call it a kerfuffle. Shout out to T.I. for giving me that word, with DC Baby Draco. And I don't even want to say it's a beef, because it's not a beef. Y'all not wishing harm or death upon each other. It's a kerfuffle. It's a minor, I don't even call it a misunderstanding. What would you call it?
No, it's definitely not a misunderstanding. I would say, if I had to use a word, I would say a difference in views.
Difference in views. For those of you guys, Baby Draco does hood vlogs. Oh, guys can check out what he has going on. The argument has been made from you that these hood vlogs are a detriment to the South Central community.
Correct.
And they're continuously keeping up dramas and controversies between rival fraternities. What leads you to push on that point?
It's just the nature, and it's just the nature of the content, and to be clear, like, I don't agree with no do that. So it's just not even just him. I buddy out. It just so happened, he just was one of the ones who did it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I said before, like I said it on my post, like, had I been out, he wouldn't have been allowed to do that, you know what I'm saying, over there anyway. And like I said, I respect the hustle. You know what I'm saying? I even respect the whatever you want to call, like he doing. He can call himself a hood journalist or whatever the case is. I respect all that, but the time and the place I'm at in my life, I don't respect the content, and I don't respect the movement that has my community going in. You see what I'm saying? So I just feel like that's taken away from the rich resources and the good work that the people of that community are in. So that's why I said that. Besides that, if he was over there, promoting, not even promoting my agenda, just highlighting the things that we have good going on over there, I wouldn't even have a problem with it. But you can't come over here and just highlight the bad and the negative, and then on top of that, you go to another community, opposing community, and give them a platform to speak down on the people that I love and I care about. You know what I'm saying? So that be the stuff that I don't deal with, and that's anybody who doing any of that content. You know what I'm saying? I'm just not with the generational curse thing anymore, or promoting further or benefiting from the genocide of my people.
Okay.
Yeah.
My next question would be, because I've been watching the situation unfold online.
Yeah.
The multiple arguments being made from other YouTubers are, why hasn't anyone said anything to Adam 22 about it? And they're going with the card is going to be, oh, well, why not say something to the white man? But Correct. You could press somebody that looks like you. Correct. What's your response to that?
I mean, to be honest, for the naked eye and the person who's uneducated or not properly informed, I mean, that'd be a fair statement. But if you follow or just listen to the message, I say it all the time. I don't condone what Adam does. I mean, when he on messy stuff and stuff like that, I don't condone none of that. It don't matter who platform it is. But again, like I say, I don't hold Adam to the same expectations that I would do a black man.
Why is that?
Because I feel like he's supposed to do that. It's always going to be about business with him. And that's any Vlad, whoever, so on and so forth. I hold my brothers and our sisters more responsible, and I hold them to a higher expectations, because we know what we've been going through.
So is it like you hold a person who looks like you to a higher level of respect and a higher level of regard, but with that respect and with that regard comes the responsibility of conducting yourself on a higher frequency as far as you're concerned? Absolutely.
When you put out there that I should check a other race or specifically a white man before we check ourselves.
Then let's call it spade a spade. It's only one white man in our space. They talking about Adam. There ain't no white man in our space.
I mean, they say Vlad. They say a couple other people. You know what I mean? Cam, or just so on and
I
so
don't think
forth.
Cam Capone is white.
Nah, but I'm just saying, just of those, it doesn't matter who he is, but they're gonna say that if he's not black, then why we not addressing that issue instead of taking away from the message, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? But like I said, to a person who's not properly informed, I mean, that's a fair statement. But at the end of the day, it's like, I'm always going to hold myself accountable. I'm always going to hold myself to a higher expectation than I do somebody else, because at the end of the day, they wouldn't be able to film this content if we wasn't doing whatever we was doing, involved in whatever we were involved in, this black on black crime, you know what I'm saying, the generational curse, and you know what I'm saying, so on and so forth. So I'm always hold us accountable first. We got to get right. We got to get right first. We got to clean up our backyard before we get to start saying that, because it's going to be the same narrative. It's going to be the same question. It's going to be the same answer. What you mean Black Lives Matter? Y'all kill each other every day. What why I can't say nigga? You say nigga. Why I can't use the N-word? You say it. Why I can't do this? Why can't you do this? And I'm just tired of the same narrative, bro. Like, at some point in time, like, you have to start holding each other accountable. Like, ask that question. When are we going to hold each other accountable?
So when it comes to DC Baby Draco, it's nothing towards him specifically, but you just happen to be a black man in this space, and the white men have already done things that you already don't agree with. Okay, we passed that. But now that you have somebody who looks like you, it's like, okay, well, when are we going to clean up what's within our own household before checking another one's, is pretty much what I'm getting out of this.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't. Yeah, first of all,